file their accounts, how they file their returns. Okay. My first question is, do you advise some other people to go to this profession?
It is a very well-respected profession. It has a lot of things to offer. There's a growth opportunities. The name is there. Anybody who is willing to work hard, his work will be rewarded amply. Yes, there are a lot of people who come who are married and they seek advice of how to file. There are very many ways to go about it, but the best way to file would be a married filing a joint return, which gives the most advantages to the people who are filing the return. But whenever somebody comes and asks this thing, we try to prepare the return on an individual basis first, then file or make another return as married filing joint return, and whatever is the beneficial thing, I advise them to go that route.
I see. Okay. What about the husband and business, both in the business?
That doesn't matter as long as they have kept good records and they are up to date on what needs to be done. When they come to us, we advise them what is the right way to go about it and do our best to save them the taxes. No avoidance, but try to do the best to save the taxes.
What about if their children is working and they're bringing the money at home?
Well, that depends, obviously. Sometimes the children are working, but they're not supposed to be filing. Sometimes they're dependent on their parents' tax returns. So it's a thing which has to be looked into and then be advised about.
Okay, so this is advisable that if the wife is working and the husband is a businessman, so they can file jointly?
Of course, depending on the circumstances, that is the preferred way to go about it.
There's always most asking questions in the accounting when you go to the accountant or you're meeting the CPA. Definitely some clients have several questions for the CPA, and definitely you have maybe selected the most asking questions. I would like to have your opinion about that.
Choosing a CPA is something one should consider very carefully. But I think the right thing to do is that try to go to the accountants early on. Make an appointment. Be ready yourself. Put all the record with you, whether it be a W-2s or 1099s. If you bought a house, keep all the records. You sold the house, any shares, bonds, certificates you sold. You need to keep all these things together. And when you go to the accountant, be open. Let them know what did happen, and he could suggest what needs to be done. It's very important to be open and honest when you go and see an accountant, because unless you tell the accountant the whole story, he may not know what needs to be known and may not suggest you the right steps to take.
Exactly. So these are the most asking questions?
In my view, yeah, sure. These are the questions that one should keep in mind.
When the people ask you, Mr. Accountant, how much money I'm getting this year? So what's your answer?
My answer is very frank and to the point. I do not know till I see all the records and do some work on that. Anybody who calls me says, well, how much would I get back? And I would tell them, I have no clue till I see the record and get some work on that. If I know the unknown, then I'll be doing maybe something else instead of accounting.
I see. Do you have an idea about how much extension you are entitled to get?
6 months extension is what normally people seek, and it is, I think, enough for people to prepare all the taxes that they're supposed to be doing, unless it's a very complicated and complex tax return, because there's many returns which do not stand by itself. There are other items which come into that, like K1s, which is what takes more time for people to get. But I think 6 months extension is what people are looking for, and IRS is very generous in giving that.
I see. What are the red flags?
Red flags, I would get that for the personal tax return, there are a couple of things one has to watch for. You have to keep an eye on the total income that you have and the expenditures as a percentage of that income. IRS is very particular in the office in-house deduction. IRS is very particular about automobile expenditures, medical expenditures, charitable contributions. These are the things that if they do not fall within a percentage or they do not stay in limit, these are red flags. IRS want to know how come you have $25,000 worth of income and $15,000 worth of charitable contributions or other items also.
Is also the advertising deductible?
Of course, any expenditures that you incur to make money within the limits is deductible. Is it relative to what you're doing? If it is, then it's deductible. But if self-promoting kind of thing and it has nothing to do with the business in which you are taking the deductions, then the IRS would not allow that.
What about the overseas account and overseas assets and making money in overseas, living in America?
Well,
how do you deal with that?
Yeah, the thing is that if you are a permanent resident of this country or a citizen of this country, by law you are supposed to report any and all the incomes, no matter where you make the income. It should be included in your tax return when you do. Also, if you have an overseas account, that needs to be brought to the attention of the IRS. There are ways to go about it, and if the IRS wants to find out, they could always find out. So I think that the amount of money anybody who makes overseas should be reported because that is the law. That's the law.
What about the buying stock in the overseas?
Well, yeah, of course. If you buy stocks, bonds, whatever you buy, you don't have to go to Pakistan or any other, or China or Japan to do that. Over here in this country, you could buy all the stocks that you want because bulk of these stocks are traded in New York Exchange and other exchanges.
They are not trading here, trading in Japan. Or
yeah, if even they are doing, the company that you do business with, they will provide you all the information. And that information is given to IRS also, depending on where you're looking.
Most important, the questions, the most asking questions, when the people donating money to the congressmen and senators, there's some limits. The big corporations, definitely they have some limits to donate. Sometimes what they does, they giving check through their employees, through their staff. Is that right thing or wrong?
I think they try to skirt the law. The law is there. They're trying to bypassing the law. If they are caught doing that, they are punished. But many people get away with doing. But that's not the right thing to do.
Mr. Iftikhar Dar, do you think that the accurate accounting, excellent financial planning, good CPA is the sign of a successful business?
No two ways about it. I think if you have good accountants and other good professionals on your side, they could nudge you to the right